Now we are going to study how to identify your duplicate data and how to handle it using pandas. This is a process of data cleaning and it is very important process while creating any data science and machine learning project. This video explains how to identify and handle duplicate rows with pandas library. Now it is very important for us to find the duplicate rows because these duplicate rows are unnecessary information onto our datasets and they might also skew our results. So that is the reason during data cleaning steps we need to find the duplicate rows on our data and handle it. Now this video uses pandas package and we need to import it first. So I will just execute this code. Now pandas has been imported, which is ready to be used. Here I'm creating a data frame. This is the code to create our own data frame, and I'm creating the example in a way that will have duplicate rows because that is what we are going to study. So I'm creating the columns here. So first column here is A, which is right here. Second column is B, third column is C, and fourth is D. Within the A column, I have created this as an observation, and within B, this is an observation. Now you might have known by now we can multiply any text by number to get a repetition of this text. What I mean by that is, if I do something like, let's say I want to create the value A, that is this text, let's say I want to create it 5 times. Then what I can do, I can multiply it by 5 and execute it. Then you can see 5 A's has been created. So that is what I have used here, multiplying these by 2 and 3 and just keeping it right here in order to make this data frame. This contains 20 observation total, and right here you can see at first in the observation 0, which is the first observation, since the index starts from 0. Now here the first column contains 4 A's, and here is also 4 A's, and here is also 4 A's. So you can see clear cut the 0 observation, 1 observation and 2 observation are identical. So what pandas will do after data cleaning is that we will keep only 1 rows and remove the other 2 in our example. So only 1 A's, this observation maybe, will be kept, and we are going to remove this whole observation, the first this index 1 observation and index 2 observation. Both of them will be removed, only one will be kept. Similarly, we have so many things here that has the repetitions here. So this 7th indexed rows, and we have here 10. So see the number 7th and 10th, both of them are identical. So we can just remove one and keep one within the data. So that is what we are going to do. So in order to identify the duplicates, we have this function called as duplicated. The function duplicated will return a Boolean series indicating if that row is duplicated or not. So the parameter here keep can take on values first as a default, and it will be given as false and the rest is true. For example, in our case, I have already told you that the first will not be considered as a duplicate. From second onward, if the observation is identical to the previous one, then these two are duplicated now. So that means if I call the duplicated function on our data frame, this observation won't be called duplicated because this is the first one. Now this second will be called as a duplicate of 0, and this third will be also called as a duplicate of 0 index data. Similarly, this fifth observation has 4 A's again, so this is also a duplicate of the first observation. Similarly, if I take example right here, the observation 10 and observation, that is, let us take the observation 7 and 10. See here, both of them are identical. So 7 index observation has AACB and 10 also has AACB. So they are duplicated. So in this case, 7 will be kept and 10 will be considered as duplicate of 7, because 7 is what we got at first. So that is the working of duplicated function. So see here, we got false for the first case and true for the next two, because these two were duplicate of this first one. So first is false because it is not duplicate. This is the first time that we are seeing this. After then, if we see this same one, then it will be considered as duplicate, and it can be done using this duplicated function. We call it will return us a true if it is duplicated, it will return false if it is not. Now to check what are the rows that has been duplicated, we have this dupes filter that is created right here, and if I want those values that are true, so here true means those values that are duplicates, what I can do, I can take our data frame and pass this filter that is of dupes, and dupes has the value of either false and true, and only those observations will be given whose values are true. Now let us say that I want non-duplicate data to be shown. So I want non-duplicated. Now this dupes is a duplicated. Now if I put this tilde to it, now this will become not duplicated. Now I'm going to display all the data that has not been duplicated. Let us execute this, then you will see df is not defined, because I think I have to define from here. So it is executed. Let us define all of things, and here now if I run it, then you can see this is the data that has not been duplicated. I can just type here df and dupes, and this is the data that is our duplicate data. Just give this tilde sign, it will become not. If I execute it, then this has been printed. The upper was not printed. We can explicitly type here print. If I want to print, maybe I can also give another cell for it to print. Now if I execute it, then you can see this was not duplicate and this thing was duplicate. I can just print something in between them to distinguish. So this was non-duplicated and this was duplicated. So in this way we can use the duplicated function and treat it as a filter. Now I'm going to duplicate in the selected columns. So what I mean by that is, let's say the function duplicated here, whenever I call duplicated, what it will do is it will return true if it is duplicated for the entire row. Now if I want the duplication to be selected in terms of the column, so that means I am checking if A and B columns have the same value. So that is what I am checking. So here in our case, see here, A and A. So A and A is not duplicated because at this time A and A is the first time that we have spotted it. Now here again we got a, so that means this says duplicate of 0. Again we got a and a, so that means we are not looking at the entire column now, we are only looking a and b and treating it as a subset. So here you can see we can make it as a subset. Now if I do something like this, like C and add D, now this problem will become same as our previous problem. Like directly you can call duplicated, it is same. You can also do this, but here we are only interested into the subset, so I'm only looking A and B. If A and B has the common things that has been duplicated afterward, it will return true, otherwise it will return false. So in this way we can also make those things to work by creating it as a filter. So these are all the duplicate that was created with the value A and B. See here, A and B has the same value in the next observation. So this was our duplicate data. Now it is time to delete it because they are duplicates and we don't want them. So to drop the duplicate, we have this drop duplicates function. We can directly call onto our data frame drop duplicates. So this is the function that will drop the duplicate and keep those data that are unique. So see here, I have A. Now here you cannot find after this observation the next 4 A's. So see here, is it any 4 A's? No, because initially we had this. So first A is A and again we have this, but now after calling drop duplicate, I no longer have those duplicated afterwards. It is just a unique instance. This way we can treat and make our columns or our data or our observation is unique and not repeatable. And we can also do the same by selecting the specified column. Let us say that I want to drop the duplicates by only subsetting A and B. That is the same thing that we have done over here. So we subset A and B, and in the A and B, the first was not the duplicate, so we got false. So second and third, this observation was the duplicate of first, so that is the reason we got true. Now we can remove these two things, and that will be done by this drop duplicates function. So this is the process to remove the duplicates from your data. It is one of the important process because having a duplicate on your data can skew our results. So it is better to drop them before using the data into any machine learning project.